Hello everybody, Lisa Bauer here, and I am here to show you a really cute project. Today we are making a frame box card, and it's very, very simple, so don't worry. All you have to do is follow the instructions on your tutorial. If you do not have the tutorial, you can purchase the tutorial for $25 from the links provided below. And you'll be able to make this with all of the measurements, make it easy peasy for you. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and turn you down here. Let's see here. Here we go. And so this is the cute little project, just a little close-up here. And I have my mouse in the way here. You'll have to excuse my messy desk. Look at this. Isn't this just adorable? And you're going to make this. So let's go over the pieces that you're going to need. You're going to need 2 side panel designer series paper pieces. You're going to need the cardstock for the card base and for the frame. And you're going to need a circle here, some mountains and some trees, the sticker package, and then you also need the sticker package here, and of course a circle and cardstock and designer series paper for the belly band. Again, if you don't have the instructions, you can still get them. Don't worry, just sign up to get the tutorial. We'll send it right out to you. You can cut all your pieces and follow right along here. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and grab my card base here. Oh, give me 1 second. I gotta move my mouse back over. I lied. I hate to show my mouse pad in there, but that's okay. All right, so let's see here. Just gonna whip these up real quick. Whoops. And I have so you're gonna score where you need to score. And again, all these measurements are right in your tutorial. So we're working on the card base. It's hard for me not to give all the measurements. I'm so used to doing that. All right, so we have our card base all scored. We're gonna set that aside for just a moment. And then we're gonna come in here and we are going to, this piece here is for your frame in the inside. So it would be this part right here. And we are going to go ahead and score that. See here. And you may have made these before. I do not know. But if you haven't, you're definitely going to want to make one because they are fun. And I'm just doing the scoring on all 4 of my sides here. I hope you're enjoying the virtual so far. I think it's so much fun to get together and craft together, make really cute projects together. I know we are working on some more fun things for you all for both the fall and, believe it or not, Christmas. It's right around the corner. I would love to know what you are planning for. You can feel free to post comments as you're watching this to let us know. I hope you're loving all of the fabulous challenges that we've been doing. Scavenger hunt. Okay, and I am just going to grab my snips. I'm going to set this aside for just a moment here. And grab my snips. We're going to do a little cutting. And I I do this before I even score the lines because to me it's just as easy. I'm just cutting these corners out here. I haven't decided what you could use these corners for. Maybe they'd make a cute candy bar, you know, for a card that you're making. You could save them. Kind of reminds me of the squares on a Hershey's candy bar. Maybe a little bit shorter, but kind of fun. Okay. And then we have to let the other magic happen here. So let's see here. On the top, and I always get this messed up. Oh, I forgot a score line, that's why. Ah, look at me messing up. Can you believe it? Okay, let's see here. Hopefully I have this in the instructions. I'm just double checking. Yeah. I want to make sure I use my, that's not right. Give me 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. I had to pull up my little template because it just makes it that much easier, right? So I have my little piece here, and let me put my hands back down so you can see it. Okay, so I got my little piece here, and I'm going to show you how this works. So I don't know if you can see this or not. So you're going to start at the top here, and if you go over, you can score actually if you need to, or make a mark. It's about 1/2 inch here going over. So we start at the top here and go down to there. And then you're just going to cut from this corner of this line up to this line. So I went from the second line, or the last line here from the bottom, that corner, up to this corner, down to that corner. Okay, and it just is just a tiny little piece. You're just doing this so that you have the right angle. Now, I'm going to flip this over because we need this on both sides. And if you want, you can do this. You can make yourself like a little template with the same measurements. All right, can you see that there? So, again, this last line, score line here. Can you see the last score line? You're going to cut up to that line, score line. This score line's about 1/2 inch, and then you cut from the corner. I can take it off now. You're going to cut from the corner here down to that line. And you're just making a little notch in there, okay? We're going to do the same thing on this side here, just the two parts that are across from each other. All right, so I'm going to take my little template, and I would encourage you to make one of these because it's so much easier, okay? From the top score line down to the second score line, down to the first score, top down to the first score line. Then you go from the first score line down to the second score line, and then you're just going to take from the third score line up to that second score line here, and you form your notch, okay? And then I'm going to flip this over, my little template, okay? I'm going to do the same thing, okay? Up, over, and down. There we go. Just going to finish cutting that out. I don't want to rip it. Come on, snips. The snips need to be sharpened. So this is about, I'm going to say, 1/2 of an inch that you're going in here and doing that. I'm just trying to straighten mine up here. I got a little wispy in there. All right, now you can trash your other pieces. Save your template because you're going to want to make more of these. All right, now I need to grab my bone folder. And you're just going to burnish all of these edges here. Just like that. You want to make sure these are burnished because you want nice clean folds when you're making your frame. And you can make these frames, they're real easy. You can make them in a variety of sizes. Okay. Go, and there we go. There we go. Go, and there we go. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is, see how I roll that? That is going to be my first piece that I do. And let me get my tear tape. You are going to want tear tape for this because it's going to be your strongest hold. Let me dig mine out of my little drawer here. Come on, tear tape. Come to mama. There we go. Sorry about all the noise. Okay. And when you do this, this piece that has the edges is actually going to be folded under. So you are going to put your tear tape right across this piece. Okay? So it looks like that. So this was your piece to begin with. Okay, and when you roll this over, this piece of the tear tape is actually going to be on the bottom. All right, so, and before I do that, I always take my bone folder and run against it, and then you can take your pick tool, but it comes right off, which is nice. Then I'm just going to turn this under very carefully, just like this. And then you can almost get your bone folder in there. You're probably going to need something smaller. And I'm just going to take one of my watercolor pencils. And I'm just going to rub it in the bottom like this, okay? And that's going to get that done up. And then I'm going to take this piece. Same thing. We're going to put the tear tape right on this fold. Just like this. There you go. And peel it off. And this is going to roll under. Sorry, it's sticking to my fingers here. And it's going to get latched. Come on, get out of there. Why am I not rolling? Come on. I'm just going to stick it on this end because it'll be easier for me. And this piece here, hopefully you can see it. I'm just going to lift it up a little bit. And now it's latched. I'm going to take this. Do that. And we're going to put just a little bit of glue right underneath this when we're done. Okay, same thing on this side. We're going to put a piece of tear tape. Just like this. Sorry about my messy desk here. I got junk laying all over it now. I was looking for my little pattern and I couldn't find it. And I was freaking out. Okay, and again, this goes right down and under. Just like that. See? Look at that. Perfect fit. Oops, that one didn't stick. We're going to have to come back and re-sticky him. All right, let me put my pencil in here. I must not have rubbed very hard with my pencil. Let me try that again. Come on, come on. There we go. Let's try getting him stuck down. Come on, get down there. Get down there. I don't know what I did. Why isn't that? Wanting to stick. There, now I'm cooking on high. It was curling wrong. There, that'll work. All right, again, our last one. And you can make these to put pictures in them too, which is kind of fun. I see why my one piece down here is kind of crooked. I don't know if I can take it up or not, but we'll see. All right, and this comes right down. Folds. Just like that. And this is the hard one. I'm going to encourage you to maybe stick your pencil in there to begin with, just so you can get that. Hold on a minute. All right. Let's backtrack a minute. I'm going to peel my sticky tape up. So I did not get this stuck very good. I'll put this one down. I'm going to do my two. Sorry, I have a little bit of a boo-boo here. I was crooked. I'm surprised I can even pull this tear tape up. Of course, my studio, I had some water damage the other day, and my studio is so humid in here. There we go. Now we're good. Then I'm going to do this side. So do your two sides first. It'll be easier for you to try to stick them all together. There we go. And put that in like this. Now, I'm going to put another piece of tear tape on this one. We're going to make it extra sticky. There we go. So your two pieces that you cut away on, fold those in first. And then these can just tuck right in. Just like this. There we go. And we're going to glue these corners like I mentioned. But this is going to be an easier way for you to get these corners in, because you have something to lock them into when you fold them. See, look at how much easier that was. Okay, and I just got to put a little dab of glue on the corners. I'm going to show you how to do that. So this is our frame, but these corners want to lift up a little bit. So you're just going to take your Tombow liquid or your fine tip glue pen, and you're just going to insert and put just a little drip of glue along that edge, and then just squeeze down a little bit. Okay. Oops, you may have to hold it a minute. Sorry about this. Want to make sure it's held good. Oops, come on, little guy. What's taking so long? Might as well do this one while I'm waiting, because I need a little bit underneath there, too. Whoop. Let me put that right here. There we go. I'm going to hold both of those. The rest of this is real easy, trust me. The frame is the hardest part. I'm just going to lift this corner up now and just sneak a little bit of glue underneath there. Hold it down. And I'm going to do the same here. Now you could do just a little glue dot too. I'm just going to hold it in place for just a minute while all this wonderful glue dries. Okay, there we go. Now we're cooking on high. Got a little bit there. Isn't it cute though? Cute little frame. Okay, and that's going to do some drying. All right, and now we're going to layer in our blue piece that we cut. And I might need to take a smidgen off of that because I squeezed my frame together. I'm just going to take my trimmer, and if you find that happening, just cut like 1/8 of an inch off. Not a big deal. Let me see if that fits better. And look at that. Perfect. We're going to glue that down. Okay, come back out, little guy. You have to put glue on it. Again, you have the measurements for this in your tutorial. If you don't have the tutorial, you're going to want to get that. And, you know, I think all of us ladies do have extra kits, so if you want one of those too, just let us know. We can get you one out. All right, now we're going to take our base piece that we cut, and we're going to burnish those edges. And then we're going to decorate our inside frame and our panels. Now, if you want magnets on this, make sure you put your magnets on the one side before you put your designer series paper down. Okay, I'm not doing magnets today on this one. I'm just doing it just for decoration for you. Okay, all right, let's go in here. We're gonna glue our frame to our card base, and you're going to want this to line up pretty good. You do not want it to go over the score lines. Okay, have that. Looks pretty good to me. My one corner just does not want to stick. I might have to put a glue dot underneath it. All right, and then we're going to do our inside panels. And I have 2 of these cut. There we go. I'm just going to put those down like this. Okay, and then we have a set of trees and another set of trees, and you're just going to take your scissors on the one set of trees and you're just going to cut off this tiny tree, and I just kind of zigzag through here trying to make this look as realistic as possible. That, because we're going to put 3 trees. Got a little piece there. There we go. Over here. One is going to get glued down, so we're just going to glue that one down. Right here, like this. Okay. And then this one here is going to get, got to get a few more little pieces I didn't pop out with my tool, so we're just going to do that. Quick. Let me grab my take your pick. It's a lot easier with the take your pick tool. If you don't have one of these, you're going to want one because it does get these out. Now I will tell you, this is a set that you do not want to miss because you can use it for everything. You can use it for masculine cards. You can use it for camping, for your scrapbook pages. You can, oops, my little dimensional didn't come off of the back. Masculine cards it's awesome for, or people who like the outdoors. This is a good set for. I even thought about using it to do some Christmas cards with, believe it or not, because I think these trees would look really cool with a little bit of snow on them. Oops, I can put another one right here at the top, and I'm just using mini dimensionals here to do this. Okay. I'm so used to doing lives that I was like, oh gosh, I hope this is still recording. Yesterday, I did this entire video and didn't have any audio. I was like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. Needless to say, I have a lot of these to give as gifts, which I'm sure people will love. And I'm just gonna stagger these over the top. Oh, I did forget to show you something though, because we like brown stems on our trees, right? So I am just going to take a blend, and you can pick any brown blend. This one happens to be one of the skin tone blends. It's the SU1000. You can use pecan pie, whatever you'd like, and you're just going to run that on the stem, preferably before you stick it down. But since I forgot, I'm just going to kind of wing it here and hope I don't make a mess of things. But I wanted my tree to actually have a brown stem. So there you go. And then on this side, oh, where's my little circle? Give me 1 second. I might have put it with my other one here. If not, we'll just die cut one right out. Good gravy, Lisa. You are sloughing today. Well, I'll be darned. Give me 1 second. I'm looking for it. And if not, we're just going to cut one because that'll probably be easier. I just hate to waste a lot of paper if I don't have to. All right, we're cutting one. Let me grab my Stylish Shapes dies here. And we will get one of those circles cut. Let's see, that's the one I want. Coming right up. Sorry about this, folks. I know I had one the other day, but, you know, things happen. We get working on projects, and I don't know about you, but craft rooms, they require a lot of work. I don't know about you. Let me know. Are you the type of person that when you're done making something, you clean everything up? Or do you go do something else and kind of leave everything laying and come back and then start another project and it just keeps accumulating over and over and over? Sometimes that's me. I'm not going to lie. All right, so we have that. Then we have our sticker sheet. And our sticker sheet, let me open it. Now, if you did not get a sticker sheet and you want one, you can also order it. You might want to even get a second pack of paper if you're doing that. We do have ordering specials, so make sure you take advantage of those. Just getting into my sticker pack. And this sticker that goes on this little circle here, yes, I punched this actually out of the sticker pack. So I'm going to grab a circle punch. Let me do that real quick. Or I could do a die too, but punches are usually a wee bit easier. Can't remember which one I used. But the Stylish Shapes dies you can run it through too. Just a little harder with the sticker. You have to cut it off and run it through. So I just gonna do the easy way. Now you can take your rosin bag to do this. I think I used the 1.5 inch circle punch when I did it. Yep, I did. All right, back up here. And to do this, I'm just gonna stick this on a piece of old cardstock that I have, and then it comes right in, and I can get it real nice with my punch, and then I'm just going to glue it onto my little circle. And this was a 1.5 circle punch that I used on this. You could use a 1.5 inch die as well. It just makes it easier because now I have something to glue on. I'm not dealing with the sticker and potentially having it fall off just by taking a scrap piece and putting that on. And then we're just going to glue this down here to there. Cuteness, right? And then we're going to take one of our little trees. I have all my pieces laying over here. One of our little trees, and we want to make sure we do our little tree trunk again. So I'm just going to pick it up and take my brown blend and just do my tree stem. And we are going to pop this up on a mini dimensional and just put it right here in the, well, what is with my dimensionals today? I know it's the temperature in my studio. We had one full day with no air. Can you imagine? And it was like 90 degrees outside, so it was even worse inside. So we have that. Okay, now we're going to build this inside part of our, whoops, sorry, I'm not a frame. We're going to build this inside part. So let's go ahead. We're going to get that started. So you are actually going to start with your mountains. And of course, this mountain is way too big, right? So what I did is I just snipped it where I wanted it to be, which that looks pretty good to me. You can cut it here and use the second part for your base down here, or you can use the dies and just cut out another mountain. I'm just going to cut this right here. I think, let me think about this, how I want to do this. I know this has to be like 3 1/8 across. So let me see where I'm at here. If I do that there, that might work. All right. So I'm just going to grab my paper trimmer. And I'm just going to cut this mountain where I think I want it. Probably about right there. And let's see, that'll be perfect. And right there. Yeah, this is going to be about 3 3/8 where you want to cut it. And we're going to stick this down right in here like this. And I want mine to be on dimensionals. You can choose however you want to do it. We're kind of building a little diorama here. So I'm going to grab my bigger, and I like using the black dimensionals for this just because I think it blends well. The choice is entirely up to you. I'm going to put 4 on here. I'm going to have dimensional backings all over. All right, and I'm going to position this. Oops, get in there, little guy. About right there. And this is a little bit higher than I had before, but that's okay. And then I have a row of trees,
And that's going to go across like this. And I'm going to put the base here up on dimensionals, and I'm going to cut that down to 3 3/8 too. Okay. Okay. And then we're going to put some dimensionals on this. Just on the spots here where we can get them without them showing. I think I can squeeze one more in right here. There we go. We're going to pop those off. Just like this. And then this is going to slide in here. You might have to wiggle it just a little bit. You might have to shave a little off. Let's shave a little off of this one side. And that's just dependent on your frame, on how straight you assembled your frame, unfortunately. I may have been a tad bit crooked, but that's okay. This is still going to go in here very nicely. There we go. Now we got our wispy trees. Now our next step is to put in our other mountain. We're going to put him in maybe like, and you can flip this too, which I kind of like. I know it's not as defined, but part of it's going to be covered up anyway. So you can flip your mountain like that, or you can cut another mountain and have it the other direction. Or we can even build this one slightly different. I don't know. I'm hesitant because I like the way, oh, we'll do it this way. And this is going to get dimensionals on it. We're going to set that aside for just a minute. And we're going to make our water because we want our water to be underneath our mountain. So we have a water piece here. And we're going to stamp that with the stamp in the stamp set. Again, if you don't have this, you're going to want it. It's Scenic Adventure. Let me grab a block out of my block holder. Put that on. And you can use any color of blue. I really like the Secret Sea. That is pretty new, but you can use whatever you'd like on this. I'm going to use the Secret Sea so you can see it. And we're just going to stamp the water on here. This is really cool the way this works. Just put it on here just like this. Put it down a little bit further down here like this. Then I'm going to come through and I'm going to turn this actually upside down like this. And like this. There we go. And I got ink on my table, so let me wipe that off quick. Want to get it while it's wet. Adds a little character, right? Alright, now that I got ink all over my hands, let's grab a blending brush. And I'm going to grab a little bit lighter ink this time. I am going to grab, I think I'm going to do like a Misty Moonlight. Let's try that. Let me grab a piece of scrap paper here. Let me get these other pieces out of the way. Ugh. And we're just going to take our blending brush. All right, blending brush, where did you go? There you are. And I'm going to lightly pick up some Misty Moonlight. I'm just moving that around. So I don't want to apply it directly to this piece because it could get a little messy. There we go. And I'm going to make the bottom just a little bit darker. So I'm going to come back in here and darken this just to make it look like it's deeper water than what's up at the top. All right, now that we're all gooey with ink, so I use Secret Sea in Misty Moonlight for that. We are gonna pop this up on dimensionals. Let me grab my big dimensionals again. Where did I put those? Boy, if stuff would just stay in its spot today. Doo -doo. Doo -doo -doo -doo. All right, so we have our dimensionals. We're gonna grab our piece. Now I'm gonna place the lighter water towards the top because I want it to look like maybe you could walk there and it's a little bit lighter and then it goes deeper. And we're gonna see if I need to trim this down, which I do, just a smidgen. I'm just gonna cut this off just like that. We're gonna stick this. I think I can go a smidgen more. Let's try that. That will work. And we don't care if there's a little gap here because we're going to have other trees in here. Okay, and now we're going to take this mountain piece that we did. I'm doing this one kind of in reverse. So we're going to put this mountain piece here, like that. And then we're going to put our other little trees. Let me get my brown blend so I can do their little trunks. There we go. Trunk, trunk, trunk. We're going to need 3 or 4 of these, so I'm going to do a few of them. Trunk, trunk, trunk. Another one. Oops. Trunk, trunk, trunk. There we go. And we're going to put these, we're going to pop them up like right through here, kind of making them blend a little bit. So we're going to put some mini black dimensionals, one on each back. And I'm going to start with it kind of maybe right here. Push him down. There we go. And then I'll grab another dimensional. Just trying to make it look 3D-ish. Put him right here. Maybe right here. Yeah, no, we'll do right here. Okay. And then we hit, whoops. The dimensional came off on my finger. Let's try that again. We'll put this right here. That's much better. And we have one more. And we'll put it right here, like that. Alright, so we have our trees on there. Now we have another big set of trees, and originally I had them over here on this side, like that, which we can still keep that. I really like that. Alright, so let me punch out my little pieces here in him, and we'll color up his stem. Okay, color these stems brown. Okay. And we're going to put them right on the edge like this. And I'm just going to glue, oops, I see I missed some brown on this stem. Let's make that a little bit better since it's going to really stand out. Okay. I'm just going to glue that right onto the edge here like that. So I'm only going to put a little bit of glue right here on this. Okay, and we're just going to stick that down just like that. There we go. And then we have another sticker from our sticker pack we're going to use. They grab it, and it says Adventure. It's right down here at the bottom. And this is just going to get laid on here just like this. And then we have a stylish shape. We're going to do Just Breathe. And we're going to do that in Early Espresso. So let me grab my Early Espresso ink. I don't know why, but there we go. My little spinner thing I have for my glue has cords all wrapped in it. Not a good thing. I got a new power supply, and it has so many ports in it. But unfortunately, then all your cords get tangled. So we're using Early Espresso. We're using Just Breathe. And you're probably like, well, I don't have Just Breathe. I'm going to show you how to do this with just your ink pad. You don't need the other words on here. You can just do Just Breathe. I'm going to kind of let them hang over just a little bit. I'm just making sure. I got a piece of green on there. I got to get off. All right, now we're in business. And voila. And then I'm just going to ink up Just Breathe only by using the edge of my ink pad. And I'm going to come over here, and sorry if I put my head in here, and we're going to stamp that just like this. Perfect. Perfect, perfect. And then we're going to glue it on the top up here. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue up here, and it is going to go right here in the center, just like this. Okay, so now we have the whole inside done. Now we need to put our pieces on this side. And I have 2 pieces of this really cute Designer Series paper already pre-cut and ready to rock and roll. It's going to go just like that. Bingo. And then this one is going to go on the other side. Like this. Voila. Now we just need our little belly band to hold it all shut. And I'm going to assemble this. Okay. You have your Designer Series paper and your cardstock piece for this. It goes just like this. And again, if you wanted magnets, you needed to put those on a little bit earlier. So then I wrap this like this, and around the back, and around the back. And they're going to meet perfectly back here. We're just going to put a little bit of glue just on this one little edge here to hold it in place, just like that. Okay, and now we have our front piece that we need to build. So we have our other circle, and we're going to take our sticker off of that and put it in the circle like this. Voila. And then we have to get our little boot. And
And here's my little boot. And again with this, I'm just going to take a piece of scrap. Let me just cut a piece. Actually, I'm just going to stick it on here. And I'm going to just cut around. Because we're going to, I didn't like as much outline on this, so what I did is I just went in here and I fussy cutted this so it looked more like a shoe print. It was more realistic. Oops, I'm not cutting very straight here. I'm just going to cut around it like this. I'm going to go even closer because it's easier to do. There. So I have my little boot. And then you were given some linen thread. And I didn't bring mine. Let me grab it real quick. 1 second. I'll grab my linen thread. Got a little bit of a bad leg here, so it takes me a bit of time to get where we need to go. Apologize again. All right. And all I did for this, you're just going to wrap your linen thread around your hand a few times, snip it. I pinched in the middle like this, okay? And I am just going to put a glue dot on this. I need to trim off my glue dots here. I'm going to put a glue dot like that. Whoops. And we're going to put this like this. And I'm going to put this little boot here up on dimensionals. So let me grab, I'm going to use a big dimensional because I only want to have to use 2 of them in the corners here. Hopefully that fits, and it does. Good. There we go. And this is going to go on just like that. And then we have 2 trees. We're going to do the same thing with the marker. And we're going to put those on with just regular glue. And that one goes here. And this one goes here. Just like this. And then you are going to add just a wee bit of glue to your belly band where you want it. And I just kind of went back and forth like this in the middle. And then you're just going to center this how you want it on there. And push down. Make sure you're straight. Well, what on earth is happening to me today? Nothing wants to hold here because of the humidity in my room, so I apologize. But that is your first project. Now let's go ahead and we're going to start on the second project. Okay, folks, now we're ready for card number 2, like I mentioned. And this is a cute card. You open it up on the inside and voila, you have your own little tent. How cute is that? Okay, let's get started. Hopefully you have all of your pieces cut. And if you don't have the measurements, again, I want to remind you, you can still get the tutorial. Okay, just picking up a few pieces on my desk, and then we're going to get started. All right. Ooh, I have lots of extra pieces here for my other card. I want to slide those over so we don't get it mixed up. All right, here we go. Let me flip you down. All right, so let me get this out of the way so you can see my full desk without this stupid little thing here where I've used for my mouse. All right, so here's your card. And let me just zoom in just a wee bit. Gotta pull that back out just 1 second. Let me get. Where did it go? Window. Let me just zoom in so you can see that just a wee bit better. And I'm gonna get this out of the way. There you go. Okay, so we're starting out with a regular card base. It's all scored. We're all ready to go with that. And then we have our designer series paper and our cardstock. And we are just going to glue these two things together. Woo, excuse me there. All right. There we go. How perfect is that? And then we're going to take some of our pieces here. And I'm just going to lay this on here to figure out where I want everything. Okay, that goes there. This we're going to stamp, and it is going to go there, and we can actually move this up a smidgen. All right, so I'm going to start building this from the base, and you have your tiny little piece of designer series paper. And we're going to glue that down to the very bottom, just like that. And then we're going to get our stamp set out, and we're going to pull out You're Amazing. Right here. I get my block for that. And we have our piece of cardstock here and our Early Expressive ink. Just going to slide that out of the way. Probably should have used my foam pad, but we're going to try it. Alright, and this is going to get put on just like this. Because everybody likes to feel amazing, right? Okay, perfect. I'll set that aside to be cleaned. And then we're going to glue this piece on right here. Just like this. And then we're going to glue on our mountain or our trees. I'm going to cut these down just a wee bit. I'm just going to shave about a 2/8 of an inch off. Just so I have more trees than bays. That'll work pretty good. But before I put those down, I want to put my mountains down. So I'm going to put them down probably right about there. Okay. Woo! Almost lost the mountains. That would not have been good. Put those about right there. Perfect. Make sure they're lined up with the sides of my paper. Scooch over, little guy. Scooch over. There we go. Not bad. Get that glue off of there.
Then we're going to glue down our trees. This is such an easy card. And they are going to go like right there. Scooch over. Okay, perfect. And now we're going to take our linen thread. And we're just going to wrap this around a few times. I'm going to leave a tail because I want to be able to tie it. Undo. There we go. And let me grab my ribbon shears. Leave enough to cut. We're going to straighten this out when we're all done here, so don't panic. It's all good. Okay, obviously we have way too much on there. That doesn't look half shabby. I'm going to snip that off. There we go. We can kind of pull this around a little bit. Now if you have some different color of thread, you can use that. Now we are going to glue that to the front of our card. If you want to pop this up, you can use dimensionals, although remember, there is a pop-up in the inside of the card, which is going to add some bulk for you. So, okay, there you go. And now we're going to grab the heart off of our sticker pack, and that gets put right there. Okay. Get these pieces of twine out of my way. Now we're ready to work on our tent. Okay, so on the tent, this is our piece of Tent Designer Series paper. And let me flip the camera down so you can see what I'm doing here. Okay, we're going to score our paper. So let me go ahead and do that real quick here. And you can get this measurements right off of your tutorial. Okay, let's set this aside for a moment. We're going to come back to that. And let me go ahead and we're going to burnish all of these folds. Okay, we're going to cut the corners out. Here we go. This is actually a really fun project. I think you would enjoy it. Once you make a few of these, they do get easier and easier. You might have to stop and play this back a couple times. That's why we do the video, and that's why we have the nice tutorials available for you. Okay, so these two long flaps that do not, actually they're the shorter of the flaps, they do not have any score lines on them. That's the base of your tent. These two ends here, this end and this end is the front and back of your tent. We're just going to cut up to that score line from the center of our tent. And then we're going to fold this from this line to the corner of our tent. Now, if you want this to be precise, you can use your paper trimmer for that. It doesn't have to be perfect. Again, we're going to do it to the other side. I just kind of work it a little bit with my finger and get it from there to go down to here. There we go. We're going to do that to both sides. Nice thing about designer series paper, it is pretty flexible, so it makes it pretty easy to do. Just kind of got to loosen it up a little bit to get your points. And woo, that was a little crooked. There we go. And then we'll put that down like that. And let's just burnish these all again. And we're going to flip these flaps both directions, okay? Just so we get that nice score line on both, because the back of the tent is going to go backwards. And the front of the tent we're going to do a little work with, but... Okay, this goes like this. All right, let's glue these two flaps together. That is going to form the back of your tent. So you're just going to put some glue on, just like this. And you're going to pinch these, and they're going to go inwards. So you're just going to pinch them together, just like this. And you're going to hold them there for a hot second. And I'm going to show you what the inside looks like here. There we go. Okay, just like that. Now we're going to grab our paper and see what it looks like on the inside. There's like this triangle flap on the inside. Now grab your paper trimmer or a ruler, and we're going to measure from this point down 1 3/4, and we're just going to put a mark there. Okay, so we're measuring from here to here, and we're going to mark this. And I use these friction pens, and they're nice as they erase, but we're just marking it. And it doesn't really matter, because after we've marked it, I hope you can see this. We went from here, this peak, 1 3/4. We're going to cut on a diagonal to that corner. And what that's going to do, that's going to allow our tent to not have that big drop point in the middle. Instead, it's sealed very nicely. Okay, now the front of the tent, you're going to unfold it. Okay, so you have this triangle, and you are going to cut up about 3/4 of the way. Leave about that much. Okay, see, from there to there, I've left that. And what you're going to do on that is I'm trying to get an angle here, holding it so I can show you. You're going to put your scissors in here, and you're just going to cut straight to the top, like this. So it's going to look like that. You're going to do the same thing to this side. Okay? Cut 3/4 of the way up. Right there. And then we're going to snip to the top like this. Okay? So when you're done, it is going to look like this. You're going to have these two tiny little flaps right here. I don't know if you can see them, but these two, they're very small. And you see those tiny little flaps? These we're actually going to we're going to glue it just like we did the other side of the tent. You're going to put glue on them and glue them together just like that. Okay? So we're going to put glue on this side right here, just like that. And then we're just going to pinch those together. And I got way too much glue. And we're going to hold it for a minute. Okay? Just like that. Now, the same thing that we did with the other side of our tent, we're going to measure down. We're going to go 1 3/4 here to, okay, 1 3/4 appears to be right here.
And just like we did on the other one, we are going to cut this from corner to corner just like this. Okay, that's going to give us a normal looking tent. And see how the top is sealed? Then all you have to do is we just need to make the flaps of our tent. This is so simple. Let me move this out of the way. We can just take your fingers and you're just gonna make a little tent flap here. And you can have one flap or you can make two. You could have your tent look like this with one flap, or you can have your tent look like this with two flaps. And now our tent's open, see? Now the bottom part here, we're gonna kind of squish this all together, and we're just gonna angle cut these just a wee bit, just to make it come together a little bit better. Just like this. Okay, you ready to put it inside of our card? The fun begins. All right, so inside the card, I always leave this tent flap open because I'm always worried if I move it too far. For instance, if you close it and you put it in the inside like this, okay, and then you put it up too high, when you open it, the back part of the tent's gonna be funky. So I open it like this, and it kind of gives me an idea of where I want this glued. Okay, so I'm going to put glue on the one side of my tent, and make sure you have the front and the back of your tent. Okay, you want your back of your tent at the top of your card, and I'm going to lay this on here just before the score line, and my glue is on the opposite side here, and I'm just going to do this. Okay, now I'm going to put my glue on this side of my tent like so, and then I'm just going to shut the card. And when you open it, voila, you have your tent. Now we need to put our piece of designer series paper in just like this. Okay, it goes in just like this. All right. We're going to do some stamping on this piece that goes here. And we're going to use the sticker that came in your sticker pack on this side here. And it just gets laid down just like this. Pretty cool. This we're going to stamp. And let me grab I need to get my cleaner from our stamping earlier. 1 second. Had to get my stamping chamois. Okay. I'm going to clean off my stamp. So I can get out my other block here. Okay, and with this one, we are going to want to use 2 stamps. We want to use Let The Begin, which is here. I don't know if you can see it. Let The Begin, and we're going to use Adventure. Okay, so let me grab Let The, which is this cool little one here. And I'm actually going to stamp Adventure first. I think that's Adventure. Yes, it is. I'm going to stamp Adventure first. I'm going to clean up this block a little bit too. There we go. All right, and we're going to stamp Adventure in, I
think I'm going to use, Old Olive because I want it just a little different. You can use either Old Olive or Mossy Meadow. Put that down in the middle so it's straight. Now let's do it this way. It's easier to get it straight. There we go. Let me move my tent out of the way. I don't want to mess up my tent. And I'm going to kind of center this. And I want it kind of a little bit closer to top because I want to be able to put my bonfire in here. So right here. Okay. And then I'm going to grab my Early Espresso ink. And I'm going to put this right in the center above. Just like this. Let the adventure begin. And then, I gotta grab the right card. I almost took my other one. Then I have a little bonfire here. And I am just going to take my Cajun Craze blends. And I'm just going to kind of go through the fire here. I'm just going to kind of outline it a little bit to make it look like a flame. There we go. That doesn't look too shabby. There. And then we're just going to glue our fire on our logs. Woohoo! Okay, and they're going to go down like this in the middle. And then I'm just going to glue my flame in. Like this. Actually, I want my flame down first. And then we're going to put our logs on to make it look more realistic. So that's that portion. And then we're going to bring our card back in and we're going to put this down just like this. And just line it up. And that is your tent card. Now, what I was telling you about, you could put your rhinestones and use them as anchors. Like you could put a thing here and put a rhinestone down here, and it would look like the tent is actually anchored down. So you can do that too. You just cut a small piece of twine and then put your rhinestone down here and then glue it at the top, or you could put another rhinestone at the top if you wanted to, and that would create like the pieces for your rope for your tent if you wanted to do that. So that's up to you. But this is our cute card. We have our cute little tent and the front of our card. And I hope you enjoyed this. Add your embellishments as desired. They would make awesome tent anchors. And I hope you enjoyed this. Have a good day.